Then I'll join you.
Okay. All right.
Wildfire, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's just let me just share it on. Let me just do a few things. Just one thing on Facebook quickly while it's populating. So okay, okay. A very good evening. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. This is episode 5. I must say, right, Mr.
Four.
Anderson? Episode 4. Right.
Yeah,
It's
it's four.
episode 4 for the book launch, which is happening tomorrow. So what's been happening for the past 4 days is extracts from the book that Mr. Edwin Anderson has been tackling just to share. This also as a way of prepping you in terms of the book launch, which will take place tomorrow at 8 p.m. We'll give you more details. But this evening, we are looking at a business plans, right? I've heard said a lot of people when you want to start a business, like, yeah, I want to do a business plan. How do I write a business plan? What are the contents of a business plan? I guess this evening Mr. Anderson will definitely delve in and give us much more detail in terms of how to go about starting up, starting on creating a business plan, things that you need to do, and things that you need not to do. Your comments, contributions are also welcome. Towards the end of the show, we'll then be taking in your questions, and I'm sure Mr. Anderson will answer them to his best of ability. Good evening, Mr. Anderson. Welcome back to part 4.
Sure. Good evening, DJ Wildfire. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook. I would like to welcome all the guests that are joining us tonight. I just want to recap for what we've done. On Sunday, we talked about overcoming fear. On Monday, we talked about ideas. Yesterday, we talked. Sorry? Wildfire, thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, you can proceed.
Okay, yeah, there was a feedback that was coming. Okay, then yesterday we talked about overcoming criticism, and you would see that if you are joining us for the first time, these are the preparation of the snippets that we're doing in preparation of the book that is going to be tomorrow. The book is called The DNA of an Entrepreneur. So you would realize that after you've overcome criticism, you now have got an idea, you now have overcome fear. There's something now that you now need to go to and start putting the business into action. So how do you put the business into action? You put the business into action by having a business plan. So tonight we are talking about a business plan. There are many definitions for a business plan, or how you want to how you view a business plan. But according to the way I view a business plan, a plan is a written description of your business future, a roadmap to navigate you towards your vision and guide you into achieving your goals. It is the one document that really shows if you know where you want to go and how you plan to get there. So that is why you need to have a business plan. Most of us, unfortunately, when we start a business, most of us, we get into business emotionally. Without thinking, they said, I've got this business idea. I want to go to Turkey, then I can buy things, then I can do that. But you really need to think down. You need to put your things down. So that is why a business plan is very important for any business, whether it's an existing business, whether it's a startup business. You need to have a plan that is going to guide you on how you are going to navigate. And that will also, you can also use it as a measurement tool to measure the performance of your business, whether you're doing good or you're not doing good. So it's very, very, very important. You can miss other things, but don't miss a business plan. When you're starting your business, a business plan is a very key, important tool that you need to have. Apart from preparing you for your journey, the plan is a written document that articulates your vision and mission. It is a way to communicate the prospects of your business to potential investors. So any investor that that wants to join your business, the first thing that they will ask you, it says, where is your business plan? So that is why you always have to have a business plan in hand in order to attract. If you are going to attract investors, it is very key. That's one priority that's one thing that you need to prioritize. What the business plan also does, it is a way to communicate the prospects of a business to potential business investors, even your customers, to your suppliers or others. A business plan should therefore be smart and include specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals. The reason when you put it on paper is so that people can be able to see whether this thing that you're talking about, or your idea that you're talking about, is it realistic? Can it be achievable? I have a prospect of seeing many business plans that have come to my office, and I can tell you, many people, they just create numbers without even thinking through them. Then you end up seeing that this thing is not realistic. So you really need to really think about it before you take your business plan, your cash flows to an investor. You need to make sure that you really know what to do, because they will start asking those questions. Most of the people, they just like to say, let me just put figures so that I can pick people so that I can attract investors. But proper investors, they will interrogate those numbers. They will divide those numbers by months, by weeks, by days, even by hours. Then you'll be able to see what you want to do. Is it achievable or not achievable? So it's very, very, very important. If you don't know how to do a business plan, rather employ a professional that can actually do that for you, because that will make sure whether you get an investor or you don't get an investor, or your business floats or sinks. That is why it is very key to have a proper business plan. How you draft your plan will mostly be determined by what you intend to use it for. The plan can be used for many things. It can be for internal, or it can be for external. I'll elaborate on those two issues. The internal, this type of business plan is used internally, and its sole purpose is to help in the running of the company. So every year, every business should have a business plan, so that they use to measure their performance as they go by. They are comparing on a weekly basis, daily basis, monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. Without that, you don't know whether you're on the right track or you're going the wrong route. So that is why it's very important to have a proper business plan, whether you're an existing business or it's a business that wants to start up. But this one is for the internal one. But the external one, this kind of business plan that is designed to be shown to outsiders, mainly in an effort to attract potential investors into the business. It is used as a tool to operate your business. The business plan meant to be presented to outsiders is more detailed and formal as compared to a working plan. So this one that you take, especially to investors, you need to draft it carefully. Don't just do it hastily. You need to make sure that you know what to do, because it has to be also appealing to outside and specifically to possible investors. When it talks about appealing, small things can just push off investors. Wrong spellings, even numbers that are not adding up, they can actually just push away investors. Say, no, these people, they don't know what they're doing. So that is why when you want to take a business plan, to outside investors or to a bank, you need to make sure that you have done a thorough job. You interrogated your business plan thoroughly, so that when there's no room for mistakes on that one. Spelling mistakes, they're not there. Even the way you present it, it has to be also presentable, so that when they look at it, they can see, because through the business plan, they can be able to see through how you are going to manage the business. So if you present it badly, they can actually see that this person is not serious about the business that they are running. So that is why it's very, very, very key when you are drafting a business plan. It has to be appealing, and it has to be with minimum or no mistakes at all. There are many templates available to use as a guide to a business plan, but on this topic, I want to look at some of the most important aspects of a business plan. There are many things that you can talk about in a business plan, but first of all, I want to talk in your business plan. You need to put a vision, and I want to highlight why do you need to put a vision to your business. And what is a vision? The vision is the first thing I feel you should put on paper. If you are going to go into business, the first thing that you need to put into is you need to make sure that you put your vision. What do you want to do? The vision is very important to provide focus, so everyone involved with the business will know where they are coming from and where they are going. The vision is a picture you paint in your mind of how far you can carry your idea. So this vision that is in your head, you need to make sure that you also put it down, so that the vision does not only belong to you in your head only. Everyone else in the business, they should be able to understand where we are going as a business. That is why you would see that because we neglect to write a business plan, when the owner or the founder of the business dies, the business also dies, because he dies also with what? With the vision. Where normally Africans, we've got a problem of not writing things down. So we need to make sure that we write our vision down, so that anyone, as part of induction of the business, anyone joining your business, they should be able to know where we are going as a business. Without that, you will see that the business might be going in different directions. The vision is also has to be challenging. You don't have to have a small vision. Your vision has to be challenging. Many entrepreneurs don't challenge themselves about their idea. They are pretty much content if they can just make a living from the idea. Most of us, when we get into business, the reason why our businesses don't go really far is just because you just want to say that as long as I can pay my bills and I can take kids to school, I think my business will be fine. But if you really want to make it as an entrepreneur, your vision has to be challenging. I don't think a business is worth going for if you do not aspire to become a global player. So if you don't want, if you're not thinking of playing it in the global area of business, if you don't want to be a multinational a company, I think you are missing it as an entrepreneur. You need to think global. You need to look and say that I want to operate in Nigeria, I want to operate in Australia, I want to operate in America. That's where business people should be looking at, say that this is where I want to go. And you also need to challenge the current players. Right now, I'm in insurance, and I'm still underwritten by another company. But I am saying one of the vision of my company is to make sure that I become an underwriter and I become one of the Old Mutual, the Sanlam that is there. Without that, I'm not going anywhere. So every year I need to evaluate myself to see whether am I achieving that or not. Otherwise, there's no purpose for me to get into business. If I'm just gonna think small to say that as long as I can afford to pay school fees for my kids, pay a bond, then I think you're missing it as an entrepreneur. The vision has to be challenging. Let's go big or go home. That's the language that we need to talk. Let's talk big vision. That's my thinking. Also, on your business, you need to, in your business plan, you need to also have a mission, a mission statement. A mission statement is very much articulated by how a lion hunts. I normally watch National Geographic a lot, and the way a lion hunts, never ceases to amaze me. You know what a lion does? A lion is a master in hunting. It identifies its prey and focuses on it, despite many distractions. Despite many distractions from other animals, it could be a head of many cattle or of many buffaloes that is in a field. But you see, a lion, what it will just target one, and it will chase that one, and until it gets to it. It does not see that this one is now closer to me. Let me go for this one. No, it just targets one, then it starts chasing after that one until it catches. And you see that most of the time the lion becomes successful. This way, I've just described how a person has to be disciplined when they become an entrepreneur. So, a mission statement is there to give you discipline and focus so that on the journey forward, you can achieve your vision and not digress from it. Because most of the times you realize that there are many things that are going to come along the way. Yesterday I talked about it. Sometimes you see that tomatoes can start selling, then you think that, no, let me go for tomatoes. But your core business is not selling tomatoes. So why are you now going for tomatoes? Why? So if you have got a mission statement, it's there to guide you and to give you discipline, to remind you to say, this is my business, and I should actually follow my business, and I should actually succeed in that business. Then, also, what is very important in your business plan is you need to come up with values. These are the things that form part of your beliefs and are the qualities which you wish to be identified with. It's very important to do business in a way that blends with your beliefs. It's very important. Whatever you believe in, make sure that you have got values, and those values are also captured as part of your business. Why is it very, very important? If you venture into something that contradicts with your beliefs, then it will hold no meaning for you. You will not enjoy it. Hence, you will not put in the effort required. You are likely to be less passionate about your idea, and you are very likely to fail. Because what drives business is passion. Passion drives a business, and lack of it will definitely not grow your business. So the reason why you need to do something that reason well with your beliefs is because you are trying to bring that passion for that passion within you. You can't do something that you don't have a passion with. If you don't have a passion, then the business is not likely to go very far because you lack passion. Business is driven by passion. You need to wake up every day wanting to go to work because you believe in the idea that you're actually doing. But what makes you to have passion is normally your values. If you don't have those values, you would realize that you might not be passionate about the business. Then goals. Goals are also very important. When you're writing your business plan, you need to come up with goals. Your vision will never be realized in a day. That's one thing that you need to understand. Rome was not built in a day. Your vision is very big. As much as you want to go big, you need to know that you are not going to realize it in a day. To achieve it, you need to do first things first. Think of it like building a house. You cannot construct the roof before you construct the foundation. To achieve your vision, you need to achieve your vision, you need short-term goals that build your foundation. Then medium-term goals that will grow your business, and long-term goals that reach out towards your vision. So this is how you need to plan to say that the short-term is to build a foundation. What do I need for this business to stabilize? Then how do I grow the business? That's the medium. Then eventually the long term is to reach out to say that in 5 years' time, I should be the next big thing in this world. Or in the next 10 years, I should be the next big thing in the world. So that's how you need to do it. So goals are there maybe to put steps into your vision to say that maybe in the next 1 year, what are we going to do? In the next 3 years or 5 years, what are we going to do? Then in the next maybe 10 years, where the business should be. Without that, you would realize that we are going nowhere slowly. We're going nowhere slowly. That is why you would see that the business is not growing anyway because we don't have goals. You are just satisfied that as long as you are making just a bit of cash, you are satisfied. You are not worried if the business is not growing because you don't have a bigger picture of your business. Then also what people look into, I'm not going to go into details on this one. People look at also at the CV or the people that are running your business. When you write your business plan, the people that are going to run your business, they also need to be recorded. Why? Because people need to have a confidence to say that these people that are running this business, that is why the first day I talked about to say that to be an entrepreneur, you don't need to be learned. But if you are going to attract outside people, your CV, your education qualifications, or your skills that you have, they actually add a value in terms of what? Attracting investors. But if you don't have a strong CV, it might also prevent investors. But that does not necessarily mean that you might not get investors. You get investors eventually at the end of the day if you are determined to get investors. But having a good CV will eventually make sure that the investors will have confidence to say that our business, if we entrust our money with this person, is actually in what? In good hands. Then also experience. Your experience, you need to put it also. Let's say if you're in telecommunication and you want to write a business plan on telecommunication, your experience in communication is very important. If you can also put it on a business plan, so that when people look at your experience, they can also be satisfied to say, now this guy he has done this before. I'm sure our money is safe as well. Then what you also need to put in your plan as well is you need to do your market analysis. Your market analysis looks at things like a size of the market. That's very important because people need to know if your number, because this is where also they judge your numbers. Your size of a market has to correspond also with the numbers that you're going to put. You can't say that I will have 200,000 clients, but the market size is what? Is 50,000. You understand? So these things have to speak to each other. If your market size is big, then you will be able to say that maybe in the 5 years we would have got to 5% or 10% of the market. So you need to know the market size of the business that you want to go to. So it's very important to know the size of your market. Then you also need to know if there are any competitors in your business. Why do you need to know the competitors in your business? It's because when you are coming in as a new player into the business, what are you going to be doing differently from the people that are in the business, that are currently in the business? So there has to be something different that has to make people choose from moving from Pick n Pay going to Checkers. There has to be something. Without that something, people will not come to maybe shop at you or buy something from you. So when you are entering a business that has got competitors already, you need to do also an analysis of your competitors and how you are going to make things differently. Then demographics. Your demographics, you need to know. This is how the market is geographically distributed. When you know how your market is distributed, then you know how to locate your business and be able to develop strategies that you use to reach out to your market in the most effective and efficient way. You want to target people in Central. Then you put your business probably in Tembisa there. How are the people in Centron going to go? So this is why you need to know if your business location has to depend upon the demographics, where you want the target market, where your target market is. You need to know where it is so that when you are going to put a location of your shop, it has to correspond with the target market. But also, one of the very key things that people look into when they get into business is they look at your finance and budgets. So your business plan has to have finance and business budget. It might not have all those things that I've talked about, but the finance and the budgets are very, very important. Why are they important? The success or failure of a business depends hugely on its finances. Business is run on money. So a investor might not have much confidence in your idea, or the personnel that is running your business, but they have to have confidence in numbers, because the money is the one that is going to run the business. Many people fail in business because they rarely put the finances down on paper to determine whether the business will be profitable, to come up with it. You know what? That is why, have you not seen other businesses? They make money. People get into the shop, or people buy things from them, but they seem not to make money. Why are they not making money? It's because they have not put things onto paper. The numbers are not on paper. I'm going to elaborate further on this point. It says, to come up with a good, healthy financial position, you need to look at the following factors. One, you need to know the cost of your business. What are the cost implications? What are the costs that are associated with your business? If you don't know the costs that are associated with your business, you are most likely to miss it or to run an unprofitable business. Also, what you need to do after you have understood the cost of your business, you also need to understand the markup that you're going to put. Markup is very important, ladies and gentlemen. The markup you put on a business is very important. Why is it so important? Let me put it this way. Some businesses have bad pricing, and though they continue purchasing goods or services, the business never becomes profitable or reaches a break-even position. There are businesses, you see the business, people buy their things, they sell things, people are buying those things, but they seem not to be growing, they seem not to be making money. Why? The pricing is not good, the markup is not good, you are not able to cover up your overheads. So which means you have underpriced. The costs and the overheads, they're actually more than the price that you're actually charging. So you need to engage a person who is good at this so that it can actually help you. So what are the consequences of not putting a good markup on the business? The owners end up continually borrowing until they cannot borrow and anymore, until they cannot borrow anymore. The business with sadly, the business goes to debt and interest continue to increase, and the business goes under. Investors normally rush to see your budget, for they would want to know whether they will be able to get a return on their investments. So that is why any investor who comes into your business, the first thing where they normally rush to is to go to the numbers, which is your financial statements. When they look at those financial statements and your cash flows, they will know whether am I going to get, because any investor, normally investors, they are not involved in the day-to-day running of the business. So what happens? They get paid on dividends. Dividends are paid from profit. So if the business is going to make profit, why would they invest in a business that is not going to make profit? So that is why you need to make sure that your business plan has got right right figures. So you need to engage an expert to help you with this one. Do not go blindly into business without putting down your budgeted cash flows. Many entrepreneurs learn hard lessons by not following this advice. Through tracking your cash flows, your business and making adjustments, you should start having positive cash flows after a year or two, as you have outlined in the business plan. Normally, business, a healthy business or a proper business, in a year or two, the business should start break even. When I talk of break even, it means the business should now start able to cover up its cost without any other financial a contribution that goes into the business. But if the business 5 years is still taking money from its owners, or it's still looking for money, then you know that there's something wrong with the business altogether. So, but the cash flows will be able to help you to understand whether you are on the right track or you are going on the wrong way. Then, what is also very in closing, I just want to say we have got what is called inflows and the income statement. These two categories, that is your cash flows and income statement, can really tell a story on whether you know what you are doing or not taking chances. So eventually, at the end of the day, the business it's all about numbers. When they say the business is doing well, it's profit. If there's no profit, which means the business is not doing what? It's not doing well. That's my presentation for tonight. I'll get questions.
Okay, no, thank you so much for that presentation. I see that we've got a whole lot of questions that have been posted. Maybe before we even get to you answering those questions, welcome, Mr. Mtuma Mawere. Mr. M, good evening.
Good evening. Good
Yes.
evening, Mr. Anderson.
Good evening, Ms. Mawere. How are you?
How are you?
I'm
Did you plan to have this show?
Sorry, you can come again?
Did you plan to have this show?
Yes, sir.
So the power of planning.
Yes. If you don't plan, you plan to fail, right?
That's right. You never have it anyway.
Yes.
Hence the business plan.
They just call it a business plan.
Yeah.
Thank you. We seem to have a lot of people who watched yesterday and have continued to share. So you have an author, and we are sharing. And Mr. Mavinga raised and I think a question, which was more like a statement. I don't know whether Wildfire you saw that one.
Yes, I've actually. So I was skipping the questions and so that we can bring them up when it's a Q&A session. But I think this is the time to bring up those. There is one by Deoma Finger, says, "Thank you. What about mistakes in investment environment, rampant corruption, failure to respect rule of law, a local bond currency that cannot be used beyond Zimbabwe? How do investors get back their profits from Zimbabwe given the existing money regulations, expropriation of property without compensation, including company shares, or even raiding of private forex accounts by RBZ?"
Okay, I'm supposed to answer that one.
I guess it's a statement.
It's a conversation around the extent factors that affect business. Mr. Mavinga is saying most of our business leaders are insular. They can plan in a silo without taking cognizance of the reality of the environment that business operates. He's just taking Zimbabwe as a case study that what may be applicable in South Africa need not be applicable in other countries. So it's not so much against the points that you've made. Saying, is there a way of deepening the understanding of what is beyond a business plan that may come from a market assessment, from an entrepreneur, but what if you export and then you generate $1,000 and 30% of that you are compelled to surrender at an exchange rate that is punitive, which means automatically for that 30%, your revenue is kept by government or by the RBZ. How do you propose that we can address that in the context of your business plan narrative?
Okay. I think I want to come back to the issue to say that in this business, I'm trying to address what you call it, startup and entrepreneurs that are trying to start into business. But however, when you are trying to start a business, you would realize that you need to do an analysis. And part of the analysis is I actually speak about it in the research. When the idea has come, you need to do a research, and part of the research of you need to do a research about your business environment, which looks at your legal environment and policies of the place where you are going to operate your business. So if the environment is not favorable for the conditions for your business, you would rather not go into that business. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you would realize that you are not going to make money. You are actually going to sink. That's why you would see that many, especially top many countries or many economies, they normally talk what they call foreign direct investments. What they are meaning is that to say that they want to attract foreign direct investment, but in order for them to attract foreign direct investments, the policies that the government put in place have to be attractive to those people that are going to invest. If the policies are not attractive for me as an investor, hence I will not be able to attract any foreign direct investment. So I would like to think that if you are a businessman, you want to set up a business, and you see that the environment or the policies of that government is not favorable for you, you rather not be an investor. Hence, I will not be able to attract. Yes, there was a feedback there. Then, so eventually, at the end of the day, you realize that there's no point for me to go into an environment that I know is going to be hostile for my business planning. So, any investor, when they are putting their money into any business, they want to be guaranteed of the return of their money. If I put a 1 million into any economy, I should be able to also to say that how easy is it for me to bring it out as well after I've put that 1 million into that country. So these are the questions that goes through into an investor. So eventually, I don't know what you can, but if a person is going to invest in any country or any economy, those are the things that they look into.
So Mr. Mavinga said thank you, but just going beyond what you have said, there are areas that are within the control of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
The areas that are unpredictable. Mm-hmm. There is a fundamental point that failure to respect the rule of law undermines any business plan.
Yes.
And he's saying, where do we get the voices of business to deal with some of these difficult issues that may be closed as public policy choices? Mm-hmm. Somebody may say a businessman is a thief, and therefore your harvest is our harvest. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Anderson, you've worked so hard, and you come to the gate taking your harvest. Then you find a police cop, an economic police cop, waiting for you to harvest what you've harvested, and turn you back at the gate, tell you the harvest is ours. Who is going to fight for that leveling of the playing field. So he's saying this ought to come from the business people as they integrate their own plans to make a profit. Go beyond the parameters or the perimeter or the circumference of profit in a normal society where there are checks and balances. So Mr. Mavinga comes from a human rights tradition. I think he is also lamenting that when we talk about business, sometimes we ignore what would make a business plan make sense and what would not make it something else. So, Mr. Mavinga, we've heard you. The next book, which is book 2, would deal with those stories that normally would not be on the headlines. Because so-and-so has been arrested for externalizing or for doing this, but people actually don't discuss these issues in their business talks. So perhaps the questions that you have raised, that Mr. Mavinga has raised, are important questions for us to consider. And Tafirenyika says, I think we need to discuss this in relation to our own country environment. How best can I navigate through? And Mr. Anderson is based in South Africa. And some of the experiences that have informed his writing or provoked him to convert into writing are based in the context of the environment that is operating. So he cannot pretend to know what is happening in Somalia, what is happening in Nigeria, what is happening in Zimbabwe. But it is to provoke the people who are operating in Zimbabwe to talk to the issues that they deal with day to day, because sometimes when you drive a car, you don't stop to see who is going to break down. Otherwise, you never leave, because you'll be helping the person fix. So we are all driving on our lanes. And sometimes I say it's a smooth journey because there's no accident. It doesn't mean on the same road there's no accident. So let's give it to Mr. Anderson for him to express the views in the context that have been revealed to him, that have been manifested to him. It need not be your reality. That's why we are provoking you to put pen to paper so that you begin to write in your own perspective, using your own ears, eyes, legs, so that you capture those experiences into stories. So his stories, without a business plan, I would not have achieved what I have achieved. So it meant that he had to plan like a general. I just don't go into battle. I first fight the battle in the mouth. Then I commit troops to fight it. But I can't just wake up in the morning and say I want to be a millionaire. It doesn't work that way. Because you're not anyone with the same dream. So as business, you must be able to know the ground that you want to operate. All he's saying is, please, before you deploy your capital, you must be able to assess the environment, to put it into a game plan, into a battlefield plan. You are the general of your own passion. Nobody will come to convert your passion into concrete outcomes. You have to be the player. That's all he's saying. I have played my part. I can only share what I have experienced. And doesn't mean you will follow him. You can't clone him. You can't clone those facts and experiences. Oh, thanks, Mr. Mawere. I'm based in Zim, but I'm so eager to go back and settle back in Zim. So I need an advice from the experts. There is no doctor here. He is just sharing his own perspective. It's like a patient who goes to a doctor and you are cured. It doesn't mean the next patient is not going to die at the hands of the doctor. No. All it means is that you have been cured. Talk about your experience with the doctor. So if you want assistance, the pastor could help better. But if you want to be able to learn from other experience so that you don't make the same mistakes of jumping in the pool without knowing how deep it is, you may sink in it and not be able to swim out. So this is a part of a book that Mr. Anderson has written, which is going to be launched tomorrow. So don't take it as if he's a witch doctor of business or he's a doctor of business. He's just here to share his own life stories and say, guys, let's use other people's experiences to test whether we are going left or right or backwards. So I hope that is clear. This show is brought to you by the 1873 FM radio and also the TV side is part of building capacity, banking on Africa's future. That Africa's future requires men and women like you and me who are able to think before they act. And that's what is called it's called a busy plan. It means you're imagining what could go wrong without it going wrong. So when you think about how other people have ended up in a ditch, you say, hey, before I get to the ditch, let me do something. Why do you want foreign direct investment all the time? I don't know whether, Mr. Anderson, you ever spoke about foreign direct investment or you were just talking about the importance of a business plan.
Yeah, I think I was answering on the question that is to do with the business environment to say that if the business environment is not favorable, you would realize that it might not also attract foreign direct investment. And there's no economy that can also survive without foreign direct investment. But we need to stick to the context to say that I am talking about the business plan. It's very important to have a business plan. If you are going to be an entrepreneur or you're aspiring to be an entrepreneur, a business plan is very essential. If you don't have a business plan, you are most likely going to fail.
Okay, so we are not saying foreign direct investment is good or bad. I think what there is that every investment is as good as another investment because it's looking also for a return. And if you don't get a return, it means there is something that is at play because you can't sustain it. You can't sustain expenses without income to defray it. And we need to be able to deal with the issue of investment. But this is a show about the importance of business planning. And why should foreigners develop your country? There is no foreigner when you convert an idea into practice. I don't know, Mr. Anderson. Have you ever seen Mr. Foreign? Yes.
Yeah.
Or when you eat McDonald's, you don't eat Mr. McDonald's, but you eat chicken prepared the McDonald's way. There's nothing foreign there. This is why Africans do not develop their economies. We are Africans, yet we are not Africans. We are part of the civilization that has no color. Business is business. There is no African business. There is no white business. So the Chinese people believe that a crisis and an opportunity are two sides of the same coin. That may be, I don't know what a Chinese looks like, but I know what a service provider looks like. If I go to a restaurant and I order shrimps, I must get shrimps, I pay for the shrimps. Whether they're saved by Chinese or not, that's nothing to do with me. A true entrepreneur will look for an opportunity in the midst of a crisis. I don't know. Every problem, whether you are in crisis or not, your stomach does not wait for a crisis to end. If you are feeding somebody, then feed them the best way you can. We know that. I don't know whether we know that, Richard. What you know, don't assume I know. So as long as there is still governance crisis in Zimbabwe, the business fraternity in Zimbabwe can only be those who link to the military government. I don't know, Mr. Anderson, in your experience, have you ever seen a bullet in an invoice?
Not yet. I'm still to get to it. Eh? I think let's answer Sharon's question here. She's got a question, says, should the timeline be included in the goals in the business plan, e.g. 5 years, we want to have achieved this? Yes, a business is all about timing. If there's no time, then it can take 100 years saying that we will do it, we will do it, we will do it. So when you are also now measuring your business, you need to measure it against the time frames that you've actually set up. So time frame is very, very, very important. You need to put time frames, weeks, months, years. It's very important to put those time frames.
Yeah, so that's so anything without time, what do you call it?
Yeah. Okay, there's also Jabuli Leo says, please give an example of a vision and objectives in a business plan.
Please give a vision. Now she's putting me on the spot there. No, I think on this one, I'll need to think on it. I can't think of anything in the mind, but eventually, at the end of the day, a vision is something that where you want to go. If you want, like Elon Musk, right now, I think that's what I can think of. His idea is to get people into what? His vision is to make sure that people can get people into what? Into space for what call it? For tourism. So he has done the first part of it, and he's actually going to achieve it. That's a big vision that has done that, and he's the first person to partner with the government to take a private company to partner with the government to take people to what to space. So it's actually a very big vision that the guy had. That's actually an example that I can actually think of on top of my head.
Okay. All right. And then the other one is how can we assist developing entrepreneurs to learn about contracts and governance before they sign an agreement with investors?
Yeah, I think this is what we need to know is that part of this book is also to help people guide entrepreneurs to say that when they're entering into contracts, what should they look into, or before they sign a contract, what are the things that they need to do? So that is why it's very important to make sure that you get into this so that you know you are guided, because we make a lot of mistakes in entering into this contract. We enter into contracts that might bind us, or that might also get back to us sometimes in the future. So we really need to be very important. And if you're an entrepreneur, it's also just good just to have a legal friend, a friend of yours who's just a legal mind that can actually just help you with contracts and viewing some of these things to help you so that you don't get yourself into trouble. So it's very important that before you get into something, let it be reviewed.
Okay. The next one.
What are the components of a very good business plan? I think I've talked about it earlier on to say I've highlighted some of the things, and I said that the most important part is numbers. Any investor, they will not get into any business without numbers. They need to know what is in it for them. The only way they can know what is in it for them is when they interrogate the numbers. If the numbers are not making sense, no investor will put money into that business.
All right. I need help drafting a business plan.
Yeah, it's very important. But before you get a help in drafting a business plan, you need to have an idea. What idea do you want to what? Do you want and you need to have a lot of things. That is why it's very important. Earlier on that I spoke about said that if you have got an idea, your idea should not be paralyzed because you don't know how to make a business plan. You can get an expert, people who are good at writing business plans. There are organizations that are assisting people in business plans. You can go to them, you pay money, or you can get a friend who's an accountant. They can help you to come up with a business plan. But it's very, very, very important. But your idea should not be paralyzed because you don't know how to come up with a business plan.
Mm-hmm. From your experience, what is it about a business plan that would grab your attention? Is it the business idea itself or the detailed financial projections?
I would say it is both. It is both because at the end of the day, the idea will speak to the finances. If the idea does not speak to the finances, then there's a problem there. So the bigger your idea is, it means also the bigger the financial projections are going to be as well. So financial projections, like I said, are the ones, if you want an investor, no investor would get into any business without looking at numbers. No one. I can tell you that.
Okay. There's another one.
What should an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I can go project.
What should an entrepreneur do if he doesn't meet his timelines? If an entrepreneur doesn't meet his timelines, it's actually a what do you call it? It's a red flag. You understand? It's a warning to say that something is wrong somewhere there. So you need to review to say, why did I not meet my timelines? What caused it not to meet the timelines? So because remember what we talked about last time when you talked about failure, to say that failure is an opportunity to improve yourself. So you failing to meet your timeline, it's actually an opportunity for you to improve yourself. You look at it, what caused me to fail? So if there's something that has caused you to not to miss your deadline, so you look back and say, okay, how can I do it better, or what can I remove so that I can be able to meet my timelines?
Okay, all right. Maybe Mr. M, we'll come back to you. Your closing remarks.
Yeah, maybe we have abused you for the hour, and until tomorrow, then obviously the questions can be best answered by people who want to read.
Yes.
Please take your time to buy the book so that, like Jesus, you can die without having anyone paying for your resurrection. So whatever is written is written. Whatever is shared, you can't argue with somebody's story. It's not there to answer the questions of the day or the questions of tomorrow. What it answers is what happened in the eyes of the person who saw the things happening. It is a record of somebody informed by facts known to that person. And history never repeats itself, but there is a lot that you can learn from the past, from other people's experiences. Sharon says, we will definitely buy the book. I didn't know Sharon was a politician. Just say, I will definitely buy the book. It's enough, Sharon. If you compound yourself, nothing will be bought because we'll be looking for the other person. So tomorrow is the book launch on the 4th of June, 2020 at 8 p.m. Definitely be there because when people come together, even that coming together is a book on its own. It's a record of somebody who chose to write without a plan that on the 4th of June we all be alive to witness its launch. Yet you can't say planning is not bad because of June the 4th. Planning is bad, is good. June is the youth month in South Africa. So if you are youth, just remember that we will not be where we are today without the youth acting. And when they acted, they didn't act because somebody caused them to act. They acted because they chose to do so at the time they did so. That's what business is. There is no timetable. Nobody is going to tell you to be angry, to be excited. You have to be excited yourself. So I hope you are excited and anticipatory of this book. Will it be on Amazon? Or is there an online copy? Because most people cannot have this, what do you call it, it's called safe what? Safe distance.
Oh, so we need to have electronic copy.
The old way of distributing books is gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether Mr. Anderson will have an online version.
The digital copies.
I think those are the details that we are going to review tomorrow, where you can buy the book and you can be able to see also a copy of the cover page also of the book tomorrow. So let's make a date tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Tomorrow we have got Ambassador Moyo, Ambassador Ahmad Ziripi. He is going to join us for the book launch. So let's make a point let's make a date and meet tomorrow. And like what Mr. Mawere was saying, Jesus would ask, how readest thou? So we need to read people. That's what that read. Yes. So in reading, that's where we get ideas. That's when we can do things better. Let's be people of the book. Thank you so much, and thank you for the viewers for joining us tonight.
Right. Thank you so much. So don't forget, 8 p.m. tomorrow, book launch is happening with the special guest, Zimbabwean ambassador to South Africa, Honorable Ahmad Ziripi. Moderator will be Mr. Mutuma Mawere. And yeah, we'll be there to handle the technical side. Until tomorrow, God bless and Aja Guide continually. Good night.